Hey, hey, hey. Hello, hello. This is AppleFUNk, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. Welcome back. First time guest, welcome to you also. Thank you very much for showing up. I definitely appreciate it. This is an episode of Funk Eats. We're going to be doing spaghetti and meatballs. So let's get into it. To my long-term viewers, all right, you're gonna need some basic things to get started. I'm not gonna give any labels or anything like that unless you just happen to see it. You know, you can use your favorite of that thing. All right, so a pound of ground beef. You're gonna need some Italian sausages, like the link style, okay? You're gonna need those. You're gonna need 2 of those. They usually come in a pack of 5. On the ground beef, you know, like I said, do whatever you want. 1 tablespoon of fennel seed. You're gonna need that. You're gonna need 1.5 containers of shredded Parmesan cheese. 1/3 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 cup of breadcrumbs, 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1/2 of a diced onion, and we use red onions, so 1/2 of a diced red onion, and an onion about this big, okay? 1/2 of an onion about yay big. 4 to 6 cloves of garlic. I chopped up and did 5, so that's it right there. And I'll also be using my other phone to be getting close-ups of this stuff so I can cut that in so you can see a top view and not just me at certain points. And you will need 1/4 cup of spaghetti sauce. Now, I like Prego. I like traditional. So, compared to what we used to do back in the day when I was growing up, my mother made the sauce with the tomatoes and everything. She made it from scratch. And it was a meat sauce. Yeah, it wasn't meatballs, but, you know, I've changed. Let's go ahead and add some olive oil to the pan here. This is our pan for our meatballs. We've got it heating up right now, so. And like we've got the water on slow. I'm gonna put it lower because that's for the noodles, and that's gonna be a while. We're nowhere near that. The point we're at right now is we need to go ahead and start mixing these ingredients together. So we've got our 1 pound of ground beef and our 2 Italian sausages. Let me get a little bit of video of this. This is the ground beef and the 2 sausages in the bowl. We're going to cut those links out of the case. Be very careful. Don't cut your fingers. You know, don't cut yourself. Get back there. And we're going to we're going to squeeze all of that out into our hamburger meat. Not ground beef, sorry, not hamburger meat. All right. And we're going to do that twice. So let's go ahead and cut this link also. Go out of there. All right. So there we go. All right, so now that's done. We're going to go ahead and start adding our seasonings. We're going to, we can add the garlic. We can add the onion and the garlic. Everything's going in. So all the stuff I said as far as the amounts, you're not going to sprinkle that. You're going to put it in. We're here to make meatballs. All right. So let's get this in here. Now I'm generous with my pepper because we talked about this in the previous episode of Funk Eats. I like my pepper, you know, so I might go a little overboard with more than a teaspoon. All right. So we're going to go ahead and add this in there too. That shredded cheese, that shredded Parmesan. And we're going to put 1/2. This and 1/2. And I am jamming, by the way. I got my tunes going. I sure wish y'all could hear what I hear. but you can't, because then you wouldn't be able to hear any of it because they would ban it. Right about there. I'm happy with that. You happy? No, I'm not. Yeah. Okay. We're going to put our breadcrumbs, 3/4 cup. Remember, we read off the ingredients, so we don't have to keep going over that. Let's get that going. Right about, that's a little much. Yeah, right about there. All right, so that's done. Let's put this off to the side. Put this cheese up. We'll put it over here. Hey, we'll put this out of the way too. We don't want a cluttered workspace to start happening. And it happens real quick. You know it. So let's take care of that right now. Do some housekeeping. Okay, we're cool. How much sauce did we say? 1/4 cup of sauce. So let's pop this open. And this is just straight out of the deal. No, don't add anything. I don't really need, watch this. Right there. All right? And we'll adjust. We'll mix it and we'll adjust. So let me get a little, and this may be, but there we go. That way you can see what we're doing. And I'll cut this in. So yeah, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna mix this all in. All of this is gonna get mixed in together. And this is what our meatballs are gonna be made of, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get that squared away. Get our music back on. There we go. All right, let's get in there and work it out. Let's work out these meatballs. So yeah, we're gonna work them out. And like I said, my mom taught me how to cook spaghetti and meatballs. She didn't teach me like this, but she taught me a lot about food and flavors and vegetables and stuff. And that, it stays with you your whole life, your entire life. So, I'm trying to think of the direction of Funk Eats. And I got a pretty good idea. But things just have to get right first. This is thanks to the lady Vamp, because she pulled this out of me. Okay? I understand it wasn't there, but sometimes I need a little kick, somebody to say, hey guy, how about this? I enjoy when you do this. And that gives you the energy sometimes to do another one. Bam, meatball. All right? But like I said, we don't have to spend all day and all night making spaghettis. And I guarantee you, everybody that you serve this to, well, I can't guarantee. Some people got some really different tastes, so I don't know. So, but I've never missed with it. So my wife has never missed with it, unless we really do something different. Sometimes you say, "Oh, I don't have that. I'll make it anyway." Always turns out the same. Not good. So yeah. Well, yeah, we're getting it. Some of those ingredients, make sure, I don't know if you know what fennel does, but fennel adds that little licorice like taste to it. So, all of the measurements and stuff that I say are all approximate. You saw I was eyeballing stuff, because I know pretty much what I want, each time. Sometimes the only difference is sometimes I want a little more like Italian seasoning in it, not oregano, but Italian seasoning. Sometimes oregano too. And so it's, sometimes you get a little saucy with it. It doesn't have to be the same every time. Yeah, see. It's funny because this is so much. I mean, I'm not gonna eat all this. Neither will my wife. I take it to work though. Take it to the co-workers so they can have some. All right, look at that, bam. Our meatballs are done. I'm gonna wipe my hands off and I'll use the phone and take a picture of it. But that's how quick we're doing this, guys and gals. We're not playing around. We're trying to eat. This ain't Funk Waits. This is Funk Eats. Believe easy. Here we go. See, look at that. Oh yeah. So those are what we're frying up. Music back on. Hold on, I need a break. I am too amped up. Okay, that's better. All right, let's scoop this stuff out of our way. We're gonna bring this. How are we doing here? Okay, that's all right. That's all right. Let's bring this into the frame. Let me go see if I can see how this looks to you guys. I don't want to all of a sudden get to the end and there's nothing. Yeah, we're okay. We're good right there. I put a piece of tape there on the table, but it's not centered on the tape, but the bowl is odd shaped. Let's cut this. Let's see what we're doing. Let's put this in. Oh yeah. We'll go ahead and cut this up a little bit. Yeah. So we got to get them in there. Ooh, yeah. Oh, buddy. That one there said, me next, please, AppleFUNk, please. Oh yeah, get in there. Oh yeah, see, we ain't playing around. Oh yeah. Get in there. Oh, look at that. Tell me the funk don't know what he's doing. You tell me the funk there ain't no more room to sing. You gotta sing. Woo! Okay, let's let those get going. Okay, that's gonna take a little bit. We're gonna brown them, turn them. Oh no, let's cut this down. We don't want them to burn. The one thing you don't want is to burn. You can't get burned out. If you burn something, just throw it away. We're gonna put this bowl. We'll put it out there. I think that's out of the frame. But yeah, if you burn something, just throw it away. You know, don't serve nobody no burnt food. Like you saved it. You can't save it. The moment you smell it, it's all the way in your food. So, yeah. But, oh, while this is going, and we don't want to keep that bottom moving. We don't want anything to possibly, oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't add the, yes I did. Never mind. Ooh, I almost thought I forgot something. I heard a joke, and y'all tell me if it's funny or not. You know, my wife had a certain response to it, but let me know if you think it's funny. Okay, once there was this gardener, and his claim to fame was that he could guess the exact amount of bags of mulch that he needed to complete any job without measuring, just looking at the job. That was his claim to fame, and he was never wrong. And he was hired over and over, and he was never wrong. This guy just had a true natural talent to be able to guess the exact amount of bags of mulch that were necessary to complete a gardening job. That's an odd talent. Let's pay attention to our food. It smells like it's doing something funky here. There we go. Yeah, see, yeah, we caught you. Yeah, we're trying to do the old sneak move, but you can't let them. I'm gonna have to stand up. Can't do it sitting down. Not efficiently. Yeah, see, we smell them. You know when you smell them. Yeah. And we're not cooking them all the way. We're browning them so that they can all get together and some of that gooey can get in there and make love to the ooey. Hey, oh, there we go. Let's get you over. Come on, roll, baby. No, you roll. All right, we're all flipped. Oh no, we're not. We got one more over here. That's okay. There we go. All right. See what I'm saying? You can't let it get away from you. We're telling jokes, but you do that when you're entertaining, and all of a sudden you're ordering pizza. Yeah, you're ordering pizza. McDonald's time. Anywho, like I said, crazy talent to have, you know, knowing the exact amount of bags of mulch it takes to complete a garden project. Either way, he accepts this one huge job and he takes his assistant out there and they walk this job and he estimates they need 18 bags of mulch. They pick up 18 bags of mulch and come back to the job. They plant a bunch of rose bushes. They plant, you know, 5, 6, 7 shrubs. I think they topped around the base of some trees. And Carlos, his assistant, was like, I think we did. He says, I think we're almost done, boss. And so he looks. The gardener looks around. He says, yeah. He says, I think we are because they didn't have any mulch left. Either way, finished up. Gardener walks around. He's happy and smiling. Once again, he's guessed the exact number of bags of mulch it took to complete this gardening project. Oh, it ain't there yet. Let's cut it down a little bit though, just a little bit, because it's trying to. There you go. You can take a look. Let me get some film of it too. I want to make sure you guys get to see it. Yeah. Okay, so here's the meatballs right here. Oh yeah, they rocking. We flipped them once, so that's you know, we smelled them, and that's what was happening. You could smell it. Yeah, they tell you what they want. So let's go ahead. And we'll get back to my music. Okay, now boy, that popped me right in the head right there. Okay, so the gardeners are all happy. There's no mulch left. He shakes Carlos's hand, and he says, "Great job." Carlos gets in his car, heads off toward the house. His gardener gets into his car, and he looks in the back seat, and what does he see? There's a bag of mulch in the back seat, and he's like, he's so angry. I mean, he's losing his mind. He's like, so he's going to take the bag of mulch back to the store, which he's never done. So he's driving home, and right when he gets to the 101 overpass, he just stops, grabs that bag of mulch, and throws it out the window, right off the overpass, and just keeps driving and goes home and says, forget it. All right, let's check out our food here. And see, I smell it again. You know, I smell it again. So let's do another side. And you're going to need multiple utensils until you get your feel. You know, we got to get the sides of it. Yeah, you see what's happening, right? You see how it's coming together? You can use the edge of your pan to stand stuff up. You don't have to use the flat part. You can sometimes just roll it up into the side. You roll it. We rolling. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's make these daggone meatballs. All right, hold on. We're standing them up because we got to get this little side. And we'll get you a little shot. But we want them to see the consistency is nice. I mean, they're nice. They're nice. So stand up. Stand up. There you go. Let's do that right there. Ooh, this bad boy here is singing. You don't know what I'm listening to. Ooh. All right, we're stood up. We're almost stood all up. Baby, I'm ready to go. Ready to go. From the rooftop, shout it out. Oh, I forgot to drink something. We need to record this real quick so you guys can see a close-up view of les meatballs in the pan. Yeah, told you they'd be singing. I told you they'd be singing. Oh my goodness. Somebody call a doctor. Whew. All right, what are we doing? Okay, I have another thing of sauce, by the way, too. And sometimes, depending upon your meat, watch it because some of it gets really oily. This is not, because we don't buy really garbage meat. But if you get a bunch of meat with a bunch of fat, you might have to drain it a little bit because you don't want all of that fat and oil and stuff going into your sauce. I mean, not all of it, because you got a bunch left in there. You got cheese in there. You got everything happening in here, okay? So just beware. Look at your oil content, and if it's too high, don't dump all of your sauce. Just dump it in. Don't do that. Drain it, strain it, pull your meatballs out, put them on a plate, pour some of that off into a dish, and then put your meatballs back in there. Okay? All right. Roof touch, there we go. Baby, I'm ready to go. Ready to go. From the rooftop, shout it out. Yep, see, it changed pitch. It changed pitch, it changed smell. Everything changed. Yeah, you see, it was starting to say, hey, I need attention. I need some attention. You know, this is a code 9. This is a code 13. We need to be flipped. And that's what we're going to do. It's exactly what we're going to do. Come on now, don't play with me like that. Oh yeah, see, they know, it knows to cooperate with me. It knows I love it. It knows. It says, hey, he loves me. He loves me. He loves me. I could tell by the way he handles me. You know, just in the way he handles me and talks to me. I know he cares. Oh gosh, look at these things. Oh my gosh. Unreasonable. Just unreasonable. Here we go. Take a peek. I mean, I can't tilt it because I just stood all of them up, but I'll take another picture. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Baby, I'm ready to go. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. They ready to go. Where's my music? I don't want a selfie. I want my music. Okay, one more flip, and I am going to dump this sauce in there. I didn't get a lid. I'll be right back. I think it's, is it this one? No. Now I gotta wash the other ones. Okay, still cool, we're good. Let me flip these one more time, because we don't want these done. We don't want these done, okay? We just want them brown. And right now, I think we're good. I think we're good. We have like a couple more sides. We could do another side. But we don't want to cook them. We just want to brown them. We're going to cook them in the sauce. These are ready. These are ready to go. Okay, otherwise, if I keep doing it, they're going to cook, and I don't want them to cook. So I don't have a lot of oil. Perfect for me. Bam. I'm going to take this. Let me see. We're going to take this, put it on low. And here we go. Watch this right here. All right. And I'm going to cut it down. I'm going to cut it down on low. Now, I'm going to go fill this with water up about halfway. And then I'm going to fill it with sugar about this much. I'm going to shake it up and I'm going to pour it in there. I'll be right back. There we go. Can, sugar. Like I said, I'm going to put sugar in here. I'm not going to put as much as I said. That would be a bit much. Right about there is fine, okay? Now I'm going to fill this halfway with water. All right, and we're going to locate our top. Here it is. Okay, remember? I told you I was going to fill it up to there. I did. And now we're going to shake it. And now I'm going to add it. I'm going to thin that sauce out. You don't have to add it all. Just the proportion is the thing that matters, not the amount. And we're going to give it a gentle nudge to let things work in until we don't make a huge mess that we have to clean up later. We put this on low. cover it. It sits and it cooks for about, you'll smell up the whole house in your neighborhood. Right about the time that happens, you're close. Once it starts bubbling, you just know, literally, you'll know. After it's going and boiling, then I'd say an hour tops. Anything after that is better, but you're cooked, so you'll be fine with an hour after it's boiling on a low rolling boil. Like, I've got it on low, so it's until it starts boiling on low, I don't start that time. So if you got it on medium, you don't start that time. You don't want to cook it too fast, because then all that stuff inside the meatballs, it's not going to cook. And right, you want that to cook in there, because that's when you just brown the outside. That stuff you'll have to get in there. You have to release the onion, release the garlic, release the sage that we stuck in there. You have to let that stuff all get together and marry each other. So, and one more thing I like to do, because it's funny. There are 5 links generally in my packs of links, and I'm one of them guys that sometimes I try to sneak a little link in there. If I could get 2, sometimes I could get 2 in there. Ooh, then we put the top back down. And that other link, now, I don't know what to do with that one. Probably don't get thrown away. But those other 2, you saw what they did? They snuck on up in there. Yes, they did. Hold on, my meatball popped up. My meatball takes priority to anything. It's not the stepchild. So just push him back down in the hole. Anywho, we're done. We're done. Except for the, I'll make a quick shot once it starts boiling and boiling. I'll do a quick shot. And then noodles, man. I'll do a quick something, but I'm not going to record all this. Totally unnecessary. It's going to be here in a minute. So, I'll see you shortly. Okay, this is the rolling boil that I was talking about. Not one single bubble. Bubbles across your pan starting to come up. This is when it's starting to go. And you want to move your meatballs around. Don't let them sit in one spot. You want to do this I do mine's probably every 15 to 20 minutes, just so I can, I'm putting a time on it, but I don't have a time. But I always come in and check, because if you let one of these meatballs sit in a certain spot, say you have a hot spot, it'll stick. Once it sticks, it'll burn. Once it burns, it goes through every meatball. So that's why you want to move it. All right, so we'll check back in once it's done. Okay, the sauce is still going. The meatballs are still in there. We could take a peek. Make sure you're moving it around. Next thing is the waters are going. So we're gonna go ahead and add a tablespoon of olive oil and, teaspoon of salt. Okay, before we put our noodles in, and then you put your noodles in the pot. Okay, we got our noodles boiling. It's been like 2 hours, 2 hours, 10 minutes. I don't rush anything. We could cut the heat up and get it done quicker, but that's just not how I do things. If I'm gonna take the time out to make a meal that I enjoy, I'm gonna smell it, I'm gonna enjoy it, I'm gonna love the fact that it took me some time to make it. This is done. I'm gonna cut my sauce off. It is done. My noodles are done. I'm gonna go over to the sink and strain these real quick, and I'll be right back. I generally take butter and then I'll put it into my noodles. I'll cut this off. We're done with this. We'll push this out of our way. Okay. So generally I'll wind up getting some butter, and I refuse to bring out a brand new thing of butter until the old one is done. So I have a brand new stick right here, but I need to use this, okay? So, and then once it melts, and then we mix it in. Let's go ahead and get a quick shot of that. You know, we want to make sure we get it all. So yeah, I stir it all in. You make sure you get it way down in there. This will stop your noodles from sticking together. You know, if you got to wait a little bit. And another tip is to make sure that you have a lid that's close to your bowl so that you can keep some of the heat in there and the top noodles won't get all dry, even if it's sitting for a little bit. And then on the bottom, take this and put it on top of a pan that has a little bit of water in it on warm, and then you never have to worry about it. But we're not going to be here long enough for all of that, so I have to cut that apparently. All right, so I know you may be asking yourself, okay, Funk, where do we go from here? You know, now we've got our spaghetti made. We've got our sauce and our meatballs. And there's a couple of little sausages in there. And you're like, what do we do now? What's the next step? Well, it depends. Here's what you're asking. If we're feeling first class, then we might take some French bread. You know, this is if we're feeling first class. You know, we might take some French bread. You know, we'll cut us a piece. You know, this is first class, and we toast that, okay? Yeah, we toast that, and then we get us a little bit of kosher salt and some freshly ground black peppercorns and some olive oil. And I'll get you a shot of this real quick. Like I said, this is, you know, we don't always feel first class. All right. We got us some kosher salt, not the thick, but we got some fresh cracked peppercorns. You know, we got your best olive oil. I'm not showing all of that. Then we got us some French bread that we've toasted. So we decided we want to go first class. Well, if we've done that, then what we do is we take some of the salt, we put it down in there, a little pinch, some of these peppercorns, and we stick it down in there, and then we put a little olive oil in there. You know, just a little bit. There you go, right there. All right. You know, right out of the toaster. Right out of the toaster oven. Get your brush, and you go first class. You know, that's first class. Now, if we're going to be a dirty girl, and, you know, we just not feeling that, then we just get us a couple of garlic bread, Parmesan crusted breadsticks, and we toast them. Yeah, and we do that, and we take it that way. So we could be dirty girls. We can go first class. We can go coach. We can go economy. Get a couple of pieces of bread, stick them on the toaster. A little garlic powder, a little bit of butter, you know, a little bit. Mix it together, just sprinkle on there. You got French. You might not be in France, but that's American bread. That recipe. Okay, what are we doing? The main thing. Here we go. I was going to make some observations, and I'm going to do that in a minute. Let's, you know, I guess I could do it all at the same time. Where's my notepad? I'll be right back. I made last minute notes as I was going through and thought of something. I'll make sure I jot it down. You know, I want you to be able to follow this, literally follow it. Okay, so first, make sure you have a lid for your spaghetti pot. It will bubble. It's going to bubble all over the place. If you don't have a lid, your stove will be covered, okay? I added 1 teaspoon of rubbed sage that I forgot to put in the recipe. 1 teaspoon of rubbed sage. I love sage. I've talked about it before. I don't need to keep talking about it. Remember that the lower the heat, the better. You know, I mean, don't sit there with the high heat and burn your food. You can't recover from it. Cut the heat down. Let things cook. It takes time. Don't rush it. Don't start this if you can't cook it. You know, if you're not wanting to sit there and smell it and don't start things like this. Not put, you can't recover from overcooked or burnt food. And people know it and they still compliment you, but if it's, you know, then it is. I recorded it, but I wrote it and then I recorded it when I was doing it, which was make sure you add 1 tablespoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of olive oil to the water. That's last and that's last. If you want your meatballs tighter, say you make it just like this. I'm gonna go get something to eat. I'll be right back. I just realized I don't have my lights on. Hold on. If you try this recipe and your meatballs are not, let me get a shot before I cut it. Okay, so there we go. And if you don't like, say you cutting your meatball like I'm about to do, and you open it up, and say you don't like what you see, I don't have a problem with anything I'm looking at. I love what I'm looking at. Everything in there has folded together and it's all happy, okay? But say you wanted it, say you wanted it tighter, because it might be too loose for some people, then reduce the amount of cheese and reduce the amount of breadcrumbs. And that'll get you tighter and tighter, okay? So you give that a shot. Oh, and remember the other half of the container, the other half of the container. I didn't want that much. There we go. Yeah, that's why you make sure you save that. But yeah. Let me see, noodles. Oh, noodles. If you don't know how to boil noodles, then you get your water up to boiling. You add your That was amazing. It tastes great. It tastes great. If you make it like this, it tastes great. I've got another joke for you in closing. There was this young lady who was dating this guy. She'd been dating him for about 3 or 4 months, and they decided to make the move to, move in together. Finally said, you know what, why not? Let's give it a shot. The young lady is at the house packing her stuff, going through her little apartment, and she comes across a box of photos. This box of photos has pictures. Hold on. She comes across this box of photos. And in this and the box of photos are of her and her ex-boyfriend. All of them of good times and them having fun at different places. And so she thought it would be funny to tell her new boyfriend that she was moving in with that she had sent these pictures off to her ex. So either way, she drives over. He comes and gets her picture up. She had put some stuff in his vehicle. They get back to his spot. They're unpacking some stuff, and she pulls him to the side, and she's just, she's like, now's the time, I'm gonna, haha. And she says, hey, I came across these photos of my ex-boyfriend, and I thought it would be just funny as, all get out to send those to him. And the new boyfriend / fiance now, he's like, what do you mean that's fun? That's not fun. This guy's going to think you still want him. Why would you possibly do something like that? He's upset. He says, I think I should take you home. And she's obviously frustrated too because the joke did not go over at all like she thought it would. He drives her back to her house. She stays in this high rise right next to this overpass. He pulls into the parking lot with his top down. His keys, he leaves his keys in the car, leaves his top down, leaves his windows down, and he's going to walk her to the door. So he walks her to the door. She opens it up, turns around. She gives him a kiss on the cheek. It's uncomfortable, but because they're having a moment. Either way, guy walks back to his car and he's thinking about the entire situation, the entire night. Excuse me. He gets back in his car, throws his car in the reverse. He looks up in the rear view and he's like, what the heck is that? He turns around and his eyes get huge. And he's like, why is there a bag of mulch in my back seat? Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day. This has been another episode of Funk Eats. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know.